Hi everyone, how's it going? My name is Ambrose Ebuka and I'm welcoming you to this session, this live trading session hosted by Octa. I see we have a few persons in the chat. You can go ahead and let me know your name and where you're watching me from. You can also let me know if this is your first time, taking part in an Octa live trading session. So today, just like other live trading sessions, what we're going to do is we're going to analyze the market, look at news before trading. We're going to look at some of the steps and methods of opening trades. And if you have any favorite pair, your favorite currency pair, you can let me know in the chat so we can do an analysis on that pair and we'll have a Q&A session. So we're just going to give maybe 2-3 minutes for, others to join the live session and we'll go into the main lesson. And while we're doing that, I'll just go ahead and read up the disclaimer for you guys. Any opinion, news, research, prices, analysis, or other information discussed in this webinar or linked to this presentation is provided as general market commentary and does not constitute investment advice. So I'll just give you guys a brief introduction of myself. My name is Ambrose. If this is your first time meeting me, hello. My name is Ambrose and I have 5 years of trading experience. I've honed my trading proficiency and contrived various profitable stratagems, which includes swing and scalp trading. All right. And by scalp trading, it also encompasses day trading as well. I analyze XAUUSD, which is gold, GJ, and GU charts with an outstanding accuracy exceeding 85%. And regularly backtest trading strategies for effectiveness. It's an evolving market, so I constantly have to look at new trends, new things happening in the market, new events, new trends. The market is not always going to trend. Sometimes it ranges as well, so I have to stay updated with that as well. What do we have on the agenda for today? So first, we're going to check the economic calendar, discuss the ZAP zone trading strategy, which is what I use. It's basically a zone trading strategy. I'm going to Hey guys, let me know if you guys can see me and hear me now. Let me know in the chat if you guys can see me and if you guys can hear me as well. Okay, I just checked the chat and I see that you guys can hear me. All right. Apologies, guys. I got an outage, so I had to quickly get it back on. Okay, so we're going to check the economic calendar, which is what I like to do before I execute trades. And the reason for that is because fundamentals, economies are a major driver of the market. The ZAP zone strategy is a zone trading strategy that I use. I'll explain that to you guys when we get into the chart and analysis aspect. And we'll look at the dollar index. Again, if you don't know what the dollar index is, and this is very important if you're going to be trading like pairs like GBPUSD, USD CAD, Euro USD, NZD USD. These are understanding how understanding the strength and weakness of the dollar index would also help you understand, what to do when you're trading this pairs. The dollar index, which is also known as DXY, gives you a value or shows you how the value of the dollar is compared to these other currencies. Is it strong? Is it weak? And then you use that to understand and identify areas where you can either buy or sell the dollar when it's paired with this currency. So if you're going to be trading GBPUSD, Euro USD, USD CHF, right, and Canadian dollar as well, always look at the dollar index and understand if it's gaining strength and on weak. I'll show you guys the correlations on the chart, and then we're going to have a Q&A session. Now today we're going to do something even more special. I'll introduce you guys to the Octa Trader platform and show you guys exactly how to use the tools that are on the Octa Trader platform to analyze and also execute trades. This session is going to be for about 45 minutes. And if you have questions, please use the YouTube live chat to ask your questions. I'll check it all and answer them as well. I'll be looking at the chart from time to time, which I'm doing right now, and I'll answer your questions. Okay, we have Justice from Nigeria, Ibrahim from Nigeria, welcome. Emeka as well, welcome to the live trading session. All right, guys, the ZAP zone strategy that I'm going to discuss with you guys, obviously I'll show you guys how to use it on your own trading platform, but this is just a brief introduction to what is included in the strategy and who it's for and when to use the strategy. So first, the strategy consists of understanding market structure, right? If you're going to use the strategy that I use, then you should be able to understand market structure. This involves trends, first just coming to the market and being able to understand the trends, look at the pattern of the markets. Are we going up? Are we going downwards? What pattern is being showed to us right now? Are we ranging? Areas of supply and demand. Those are the things that would help you understand market structure. And when you understand market structure, you want to identify key levels. You want to identify key levels using your trend lines. You can use the moving average or the Fibonacci, and that's also where support and resistance comes into play as well. And you also want to identify your entry and exit points, right? Where do you want to execute this trade and where do you want to exit this trade? You don't want to be the kind of trader that gets into a trade and then you let the amount that you make from that trade or the amount that you are in risk on that trade or at risk of that trade determine when you exit. So for example, you could get into a trade and you're like, well, if I make $1,000 from this trade, then I'm going to close. But if I'm in a drawdown of about $500, then I'm going to close. No, the market determines your entry. The market also determines your exit, and you can exit two ways. You can either exit in profit or in loss, but you have to predetermine that exit before you enter the trade. And finally, you want to apply proper risk management on your trades, right? Use of moderate position size. And by moderate, I mean use a conservative lot size, all right? Use a moderate risk to reward ratio as well. If you're going to be risking 5% to make a profit of 1%, that's not really moderate now, is it? Okay, what kind of traders is the strategy suitable for? Basically all types of traders, right? Day traders, swing traders, scalpers, and position traders. Now, the zone trading strategy is a kind of strategy that requires a lot of patience because you're literally waiting for the market to get into your zones, right? And that means you have to look at the market and understand that this is a market that's going to be trending about 60% of the time, and 40% of the time is going to be ranging, right? So I need to find a way to be patient for this market to get into my zones. And if it doesn't get into my zone for a trend and it's ranging, obviously ranging markets are bounded by support and resistance levels, right? So what that means is that you're going to also be patient for the market to bounce off support and resistance levels or supply and demand zones as well, or break below them, and you can trade in the continuation or a reversal. But it is suitable for all type of traders: day traders, swing traders, scalpers, and position traders. I believe you guys understand what this trading style means, right? If you don't know what any of this trading style means, let me know in the chat. If you don't know what a day trader means, a swing trader, a scalper, or a position trader means, let me know in the chat. If you don't know what a day trader, swing trader, scalper, or position trader means, then let me know in the chat. Okay. All right. I believe everybody knows what it means. Finally, when do you use this strategy? You use it during volatile sessions, right? A volatile session can be an overlapping session. Now, an overlapping session is basically when one session overlaps into another session. So, for example, if you're in, I'll use Nigerian time for those of you in Nigeria. So, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., obviously the London session or the European session is going to be open. Now, when you get to like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., you would notice that the American session would also be open as well. The London session stays open. Each session runs for 9 hours, right? So during 2 p.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., the London session is still going to be open all the way up to 5 p.m. That time can be an overlapping session. That's what we call volatile session. We also have other sessions. A volatile session can also be after a news release. We also have the Tokyo session at midnight Nigerian time. But the reason why it's important to use it during a volatile session is because volatility is what gives traders money. If the market does not move, then traders would not make any money at all, right? We need the market to move so we make money. This is a zone trading strategy. If you're going to be trading a quiet market, first you're going to have to wait longer for the price to get into your zones. And even when it gets into your zones, a quiet market is just going to create a lot of indecision candlesticks and a lot of consolidations that, would not validate your confirmation. Okay, so that's why it's good to use it during a volatile session and also after major news events as well. Keyword after major news events, not during major news events, okay? Because sometimes, actually most times, key levels are not really respected during a major news event, because the market could just make a spike to the upside or to the downside. All right, so we're going to go over the live trading session right now. And again, I told you guys to do that, we have to first look at the economic calendar, right? We're going to first look at the economic calendar. And if you're new to the Octa economic calendar, yeah, it's very important. You have to take note of the time zone and you also have to take note of the filters, right? So over here, you can see that it's only showing me high impact events. And the reason for that is because I have filtered it to just show me high impact events and some selected countries that that relates to the currency that I am trading. All right. So if you want to change this, you can always use the advanced filter. Click on medium, click on low. Very important for beginner traders as well, so that you can get the knowledge of these events. Click on apply filter, and then you see that we have some extra events for today. But I like to stick to the high impact because just as the name goes, it brings about, increased volatility as compared to low impact and medium impact. And also very important that you use your own time zone so that you don't, because by default it could be in UTC something, I don't know, but just cross check and make sure you're at your own time zone. So you don't wait for an event at a time that, would be for another country. And then if the event passes and, you just miss out on it. All right. So today we have just very few economic events. I think one of the most important economic events we had today was the trade balance month over month for the Australian dollar and also the CPI for the Swiss franc. Today is the Independence Day for the United States of America. And I'm going to ask you guys a quick question. This is not trading related, but more like international history related. Who knows? If you know, you can answer. Hello, hello everyone. Let me know if you guys can hear me, please. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. Guys, let me know in the chat if you can hear me. We're gonna get back and continue right away, but I want to be sure that you guys can hear me. All right. So as I was saying, guys, about the Fed's speech. Now, it's very important that if you're going to be trading the dollar, you should pay attention to speeches from these board members. Okay, the reason is because their words and also their actions can have a big impact on the financial markets and the overall economy. You also have to keep in mind that the Federal Reserve is a key player in formulating and also carrying out monetary policy in the US. And this includes interest rate decisions, all that. So very important that you pay attention to speeches and reports from board members or the Fed chairman generally. Okay, so I was asking if you guys understood the trade balance explanation and how to trade the news. Let me know in the chat if you understand how to trade the news. Someone said the voice is cutting. Okay, I think it's good now. So I'll give you guys tips on how to trade the news. But first, I'm just going to show you the structure of the Federal Reserve System all the way down to the governors, the 12 reserve banks that we have, and the FOMC, just so that you can have a better understanding of how this system works. So we have at the very top the US Central Bank, the Federal Reserve System, and under that we have three key entities, which are the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, which govern the 12 Federal Reserve banks, and then we have the Federal Open Markets Committee, FOMC. So if you hear FOMC a lot, this is what it means. Now, the 5 key functions of the Federal Reserve is to conduct the nation's monetary policy, to help maintain the stability of the financial system, to supervise and regulate financial institutions, to foster payment and settlement system safety and efficiency, and also to promote consumer protection and community development. So again, we have the Congress, which oversees the Federal Reserve System and its entities. Then we have the Board of Governors, which also make up the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, and are also governed and supervised by, and also supervise the Federal Reserve banks as well. Okay, so you can see how it's connected. This is connected to the Board of Governors. This is also connected to the Board of Governors. The Board of Governors supervise the Federal Reserve banks. We have 12 Federal Reserve banks, and they are located in areas like Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Richmond, Atlanta. So when you see a Board of Governor, you'd see that Board of Governor is representing a certain geographic area of the United States. So if I go back to the economic calendar, you'd see that this is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the 7th District Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. Okay, so you're always going to see different speakers, as you all know. You're going to see hacker, you know, a lot of speakers, right? 12. They govern the 12 Federal Reserve banks. I just want to be sure that you guys understand exactly how to use the economic calendar and the importance of this speech, the importance of trade balance and other high impact events like the consumer price index. Again, if you want to execute, if you want to understand what it means, you can click and read up and understand what each report would mean. With that being said, we're going to go over to the Octa Trader web platform. And like I said, if you have any pair that you like, your favorite pair, you can let me know in the chat. I'll go ahead and analyze your pair. Now, when you get into the Octa trading platform, this is Octa Trader, by the way. So if you're going to create an account, then you create Octa Trader, right? You're going to have options. You'd have an option to create an MT4 trading account, an MT5 trading account, and Octa Trader. So if you want to have access to this platform, which also gives you access to space, then you have to create an Octa Trader account. Then you'd get this. If you create MT4, MT5, you would be sent a login, your login credential to just log into the MT4, MT5 platform, but you wouldn't really have access to space. Okay. So before we even come on here, right, I would like to just do a quick recap on the dollar index, because again, I trade a lot of currencies that are paired with the dollar, right? So we obviously need to understand exactly what's going on with the dollar and see how we can also use that to determine areas where we can buy or sell the dollar across other pairs. For example, if you look at what's going on recently with the dollar, you'd see that we are rebounding from this resistance, right? And I told you guys why this is an important key level. I think in the last live session, I told you guys that this is an important key level for the dollar index, because if you look over here, we can see retest, another retest. We traced this all the way back to even March as well. And that's why when we broke above and came back down, the dollar index still came back up here to find resistance, right? Broke below support. It found support at this level, broke below that, came back up here to find resistance, 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 resistance. So obviously we're rebounding from that. And this is also coupled with what's going on with the dollar right now and how dovish the Fed is. They're a bit uncertain about increasing the interest rates. And we also had recent negative news on the dollar as well. So from what we can see on the chart, it's pretty clear that the dollar index, or the dollar itself, it's weak. But I'm going to zoom in, because this is on the daily time frame. I'm going to zoom in to the 4-hour time frame. And what I mean by correlation with other pairs is when you're trading the dollar, if you're trading, let's say GBPUSD, for example, let's just give this a second to load so I show you guys what I'm about to explain. Okay, so if you look over here, you'd see the dollar has been trending downwards, right? From 2nd of July, 2 days ago. We're just going to use that 2 days ago. I could still go to the daily time frame and show you guys, but let's just use this one. If I go to GBPUSD, right, and show you guys recent price action of GBPUSD, you'd see that it's going upwards from 2nd of July, 2 days ago as well. So you can see the correlation. So that's why if you're going to be trading GBPUSD and other major pairs that are, other major currencies that are paired with the US dollar, you need to understand the strength and the weakness of the US dollar. Guys, in the course of this live trading session, if you have questions, you can always ask me your questions in the chat. Now, the reason why I told you guys that we're going to zoom in is because on the daily time frame, we may not really see all these key levels, right? So I'm going to go ahead and indicate this key level for you guys, and you'd see why we're getting a bit of a pause on the dollar index. Obviously, again, today is holiday, so the markets are slowing down. The dollar market is a bit slow right now because of the independence, but we can also see that it's currently trading at a level that we can identify to be a key level. Obviously, like take it all the way back, you would see we retested at this point, retested, broke above, but came back to find support here twice again, and now we're finding support here today. So obviously the dollar is weak. We're beginning to slow down a bit due to the holiday, and also we are at a key level, right? Our confirmation to continue to sell the dollar across all pairs would be a break below this point. If you guys notice, I have two zones, one to the upside and one to the downside. Let's just go to the weekly so I show you guys that. I think let's just do the daily. Guys, give me a second. This is taking some time to load. But while it's loading up, I'm just going to check the comments to see if you guys have questions for me. Don't you agree that trading is actually just like gambling, for which we have no idea where the price is going? I don't agree that trading is gambling to start with. And the reason for that is because you can actually analyze the market, right? Okay, let me just switch over to. So let's say, for example, let me zoom in. You look at this market and you're able to identify the trend. You're able to use historical price data to identify and predict what could potentially happen in the future. Gambling is not really like that. With trading, each candlestick you see here is a reaction and action of different traders, human traders, right? And what happens is most times as humans, we tend to repeat the same thing over and over again. And that's why you see the market tend to move like a magnet. You have an uptrend and then you see the market reverse, and on its way down, it starts to respect the key levels that it created when it was going up. So that's just one of the reasons why the analysis aspect makes it different. And yes, you can't really be certain, but you're able to predict, right? There are strategies in place, there are tools in place that you can use to predict where the market is going to go. You can't say you're 100% certain, but you're able to predict. Now, if you look at the live trading sessions on Octa Broker YouTube channel, if you watch my live trading sessions, you'd see that we're able to identify what the market is going to do next. Sometimes we have to wait for the market to give us confirmation. Because as traders, that's what you want to do. You don't want to be ahead of the market. You don't move the market. The market has to move and then you react as a trader. Except you have $7 trillion. But you, as a retail trader, you don't control the market. So what you have to do is to wait for the market to give you a confirmation of its potential, and then you can trade in that direction. All right. Okay, so since this has loaded up, dollar index. So while we wait for that to load, I'm just going to run over the Octa Trader, which is the Octa trading platform, and how you can utilize the tools on here to analyze markets, execute trades, and potentially make a profit. Now, when you're done with your analysis, right, because I don't like to tell traders to use sentiment as the basis of their analysis. The reason is because beginner traders may not know how to understand sentiment analysis. Okay, so you have to be able to analyze the market first, And then whatever it is that you're getting from sentiment would be like a confirmation, or it could be something that you want to review and then either add or just, pay attention to with your analysis, right? So when you're done analyzing the markets, again, the steps to that I just disclosed. We're having a bit of an issue with loading this up. Okay, I'll come back to this later. But when you're done with your analysis, what you can do is you can use the space feature to see what expert traders are saying about the particular pair you want to trade. So for example, if you trade GBPJPY, then you can use the space feature to see, oh, this is what the experts, Octa experts are looking at. These are the areas where I want to pay attention to. Does this align with my analysis? If it doesn't, what do I need to change, or do I still follow my analysis? The idea for using space is to understand what the experts are saying. And then you can decide if you want to join that or if you still want to use your analysis. Space gives you a lot. It also gives you entry levels, exit levels, risk to reward levels as well. And this is very important for traders. And there are a lot of there are varieties of pairs that you can trade and that you can also understand based on the analysis as well. And this is very important for beginner traders. Okay, if you're a beginner trader, I would recommend space for you, because sometimes the things you see in the market, an expert trader can see something else or something in a bigger picture, right? So you could see a potential 100 pips move in the Forex market, and you go for that 100 pips move. But while you use space, you see a wider view of the market and you see a potential 600 pips move. And now you start to understand and get confidence in your trend, in your analysis. And you might even want to hold the trade for a longer period of time or adjust accordingly. All right, so space I recommend for you guys. And again, if you're new to Octa Trader, this is where you have your tools, the objects that you're going to be using. Your trend line is here. You can always use your trend line to align across the lows, the swing lows. If you're going to be identifying an uptrend, your trend line has to be drawn along the swing lows. For a downtrend, it's going to be drawn. I'm trying to look for a downtrend to give you guys an example. Let's say I get one. But for a downtrend, it's going to be drawn along the swing highs, right? At least 2 or more swing highs, then you can draw your trends. When you click on this arrow, you see other tools like the ray, the arrow, the horizontal line, vertical line. Again, the market moves like a magnet. What that means is let me just zoom in and show you guys this. You can see that NZDJPY created support here, came back to retest multiple times. And for every retest, we had a bounce, right? If I go lower to like the 15-minute time frame, you would see that the candlestick at that bounce would give you confirmation. And this is what I always tell you guys. When you're trading in the zone, if you're going to be zone trading, the candlestick should be the final point of your confirmation, right? You don't just go to every bounce and you say, well, we had a bounce before. Obviously, we're going to have a bounce again, and I want to trade that bounce, to the upside or to the downside, whichever way. You want the candlestick to show you momentum and say, well, we're seeing an engulfing candlestick. We're seeing bullish momentum candlestick that shows us we're going up. And then that can be your confirmation. But if you just get into the market at every zone, that would be you being ahead of the market. And remember, you don't want to be ahead of the markets. You don't want the markets to follow you. You want to follow the direction of the market. So you don't get caught up in fake outs like this. Let's go back to that. So you don't get caught up in fake outs like this. So if you look at this candlestick right now, you'd see that we didn't get a close below this support. We just pushed all the way down and pushed back up. Why does this happen? Mostly because of high impact news events. We also had it here as well. So if you're going to be trading in the zone, you always want to use candlestick as your final point of confirmation, and the candlestick has to completely close. So when you see a candlestick bullish, it has to close bullish. You have to see a continuation of that momentum, and you can get your confirmation from that. So I'm going to be looking at one of the popular pairs that we trade, which is GBPUSD. Just going to drag this into the chart. Let's hide space for a minute. And if you have any questions, please ask me your questions. If you have any questions at any point in this session, you have any questions, let me know in the chat, guys. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is to go to the higher time frames. And I always say this, regardless of your trading style, right? Day trader, swing trader, scalper, it's always important that you use the higher time frames to basically understand, overall direction of the market. What's going on? Are we in an uptrend or in a downtrend? Now, how strong is this uptrend and how strong is this downtrend? You want to use the higher time frames to understand that. Regardless of how you want to trade, if you want to trade against the trend, it's just important that you have that awareness that if you're going to be trading against the trend, then that move is going to be temporary. When you see the markets trend down about 3,000 pips and you're seeing strong bearish momentum and you want to trade a pullback, it wouldn't really be ideal to target 1,000 pips for a pullback when you're seeing momentum bring the market down. So it's very important that if you're going to be trading, regardless of your trading style, you always look at the higher time frames to get like a bigger picture of what's going on in the market. If you trade GBPUSD, let me know in the chat. If you trade GBPUSD, let me know in the chat. So first, we want to start by identifying some of our key levels, which is going to be our support levels. And just to make it simple for you, you can start from the bottom and you start identifying these key levels, all the way to the top. A quick tip I'll give you guys is try as much as possible not to, spend so much time identifying these levels. Okay? What I mean by that is you don't really have to force the levels into existence. Give me a second. Let's see if we have the rectangle. Okay, we do. So you don't necessarily have to spend so much time trying to cross this and cross that. First, you just start by spotting the obvious ones, the obvious support and resistance levels first, and then you can always come back in the middle to identify some of these minor key levels. And also, most of the time, you may not always use the horizontal line. You can always use the rectangle in a situation where you're trying to get a zone like this. Right? So now you see that your rectangle tool has gotten this resistance, and also resistance on here as well. Let me know in the chat if you guys understand how to spot your support and resistance levels. Let me know in the chat. Again, guys, you can't really have access to space if you don't have an Octa trading account or an Octa trader account. So create an Octa trader account using the link in the description and make sure that your configuration is set to Octa trader so you can have access to this platform and by extension, access to space. So obviously on the pound dollar, we're seeing that we had a massive move to the downside, found support, consolidated for a bit. We can also, if I zoom in, you see that we created a double bottom pattern here. Now, if you're familiar with chart patterns, you would notice that the double bottom signifies reversal, right? The double bottom is made up of the first bottom. Let's see if we have. Okay. The double bottom is made up of the first bottom that we have here, the second one, and then we have the neckline and the sustained break above the neckline. So usually A double bottom would look like this. This is how it can look in most of the drawings that you'd see from downtrend. Then you have the first bottom formed, second bottom formed, break and retest, and then continuation. So when you're looking at the theoretical aspect of trading, or you're reading a book about trading, it will be drawn like this. But most times, what you'd see is something like this. And then when you have the break out of the neckline, the retest can even go lower. The retest can go below that neckline before it continues to push to the top side. Now, like I've seen this a lot of times in the market. I see this pattern more than the regular break and retest on the resistance and then continuation. It pulls back into the below the support, which is here, before it continues to move to the top side. So if you're going to be trading, again, key levels, like I always say, you want your candlestick to be your final point of confirmation. And also, you also want to look to the left-hand side to see if there are areas where the market would want to come grab liquidity from before it continues to push to the top side. All right. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be trading chart pattern, or whenever you spot a chart pattern, keep it in mind that it could be a double top, a triple top, whatever head and shoulder, whatever pattern it is, it has to form completely first, and your candlestick has to be your final point of confirmation. Now, obviously, if I zoom in, you see that at that pullback, let's switch this. At that pullback, you see that we had the formation of a doji candlestick, and usually doji signifies indecision. Doji usually occurs also at reversing markets. So we had pullback, indecision, and a change of momentum. Over here, we didn't see any confirmation at the retest. As a matter of fact, over here, the only retest we had was on this neckline, which was here, but we didn't see any bounce or confirmation to go long, right? Instead, we had a break to the downside. Now, if you're the kind of trader that gets in early at markets, you get in here and then you get stopped out, and the market starts to move in your direction. I know sometimes we experience that, mostly beginner traders. You just get into a trade, the market stops you out, and the next thing, it continues to move in your initial direction. It happens. How you can avoid that is to always wait for confirmation. Your candlestick has to be your last point of confirmation. If you're at a key level and you don't get confirmation, just be patient. Don't rush into the trade so that you don't start getting caught up in a massive drawdown that you're not prepared for, or potentially just get stopped out of the trade. Okay, so I'm just going to fast forward to most recent price action, so I show you guys what to look out for on the GBPUSD market. Now, like I said, the dollar is weak. We're seeing that we're currently sitting at a key level on the dollar, which is why we're getting a bit of a slowed momentum here on GBPUSD. But clearly, we're seeing that the market is headed to make another retest. Now, the more we retest this resistance level, the stronger this resistance level is going to get. And what that would mean is that every rejection we get from here would be strong pullback. Every breakout we get from here and retest would potentially mean that the market is going to be trading above this level. So if we have a sustained breakout of this resistance and a retest, and that retest is sustained, we don't have a pullback, and that breakout is not a fake out, then we're going to be trading above this resistance for a long time. But right now, we're still headed here, and looking at the dollar index markets, as I showed you guys, we're sitting at a key level. So it wouldn't really be ideal to just hop into a trade on GBPUSD when we haven't seen, continuous break to the downside, which will signify continuous weakness of the dollar. I actually do expect the dollar to consolidate at this point until tomorrow, when we have non-farm payroll released, and then we get a spike. Obviously, that's one of the events that is being, anticipated for this week, the non-farm payroll tomorrow. We'll see if it saves the dollar or if it sends it crashing all the way down. Okay, so how do you use fundamental analysis in trading? These are some of the steps that you can use just so that you don't rush into using fundamental analysis and executing trades blindly. First, you want to look out for the events for that week or for that day. I like to say the week because you know the things that you want to anticipate and the things that you want to look out for the rest of the week, and you know which one is more important. Now, your focus should be on high impact events because they bring about increased volatility as compared to medium and low impact. And you want to confirm the release time and understand the meaning of the event and the possible outcome. With the Octa economic calendar, you can always do that. I showed you guys how you can always click on this events, read them, and understand what each report would mean. And you want to take note of the previous and forecast reports, right? Are we forecasting an increased report? So let me just give you guys an example. Now, if you look at the non-farm payroll forecast, you see that the forecast is for a reduced result. So what this means is that we're expecting lesser amount of people to be unemployed, right? So if you get anything within the range of 170, 160, then we expect that to be good for the dollar, right? It could send the dollar, in some gains. Maybe not so much because the dollar is still weak, but at least get it away from the support level that is sitting at currently. Anything higher than that would just be negative for the dollar. And you want to wait for the news to be released. Now, a lot of traders like to trade the volatility, just get in and get out. But I like to recommend that you wait for the news to be released so that you're not in a rush and the market is calm. You understand the next direction or the potential direction of the market. You see that you're not going to be caught up in multiple spikes and the wild movement of the market. Everything is going to be clear and more simple to understand while you're analyzing. And you want to combine this with technical and whatever strategy it is you have, right? You can even add sentiment analysis, but it's not really, I wouldn't recommend you to just go straight to the chart and start buying the dollar because you see that less people are unemployed than last month, right? You want to know where to buy, the best possible price to buy, where you want to put your stop loss levels, your take profit levels, your risk management strategies. You want to apply that and combine that with the fundamental analysis, all right? So that you don't just trade fundamental analysis in isolation. Again, guys, the link in the description would give you or would direct you to your app store or Play Store, depending on the phone you use, where you can download the Octa trading app. And this app offers a wide range of trading instruments with low spreads, fast execution, and zero commissions. You also have educational resources on the app. The webinars that you can find here, you can also find on the app as well. You have 24/7 customer support and a strong commitment to funds and data security. Now, if you want to make a deposit on your Octa trading account, you can use the promo code Ambrose E100. This promo code gives you a 100% bonus to your deposit. First, you need to have an Octa trading account, and you need to first make a deposit to be able to use this promo code. The promo code gives you a 100% bonus on your deposit. If you skip the area where you want to make a deposit, because there's going to be a section where you can put in the promo code. If you forget to do that, then you can always, as long as you've made a deposit, you can always find the promo code section in the menu, the navigation button, enter your promo code Ambrose E100 and press activate, and you can enjoy your bonus. Now, guys, when you're making your when you're putting in this promo code and when you're about to get this bonus, you'll be notified of the volume you need to trade before you can actually withdraw this bonus, right? So keep that in mind when you're using the promo code. Okay, I'm going to do a quick summary and I'll take all your questions if you have any. Today we've looked at the Zabzone strategy. I mean, we had a little bit of interruption with the network, but you can always come back to watch this video and try to understand better. And if you have any questions, you can still drop a comment and I'll be answering your questions. We looked at the Zabzone strategy and its components, its sustainability, its suitability for you as a trader, and where you can apply this strategy. We talked about the steps to news trading, and we also looked at a brief analysis on GBPUSD on the Octa Trader Live chart. Okay, so if you have any questions, guys, this is your time to ask me your questions. You can ask me in the chat and I'll take a few questions. Some of the key takeaways from today's session is you need to analyze the instruments so that you can understand exactly how they behave in various market conditions, right? You also want to review your actions, reflect on your decisions to know what worked well and what you need to improve on. Now, if you see something that works for you in the market, stick to it, guys. I mean, even if it's one currency pair that you're doing massively well at, you may want to trade gold, but you could be doing well at AUD CAD or Euro CHF. Capitalize on that. I'm not saying you should not learn about gold if that's your dream currency, but guys, it's really about what works for you in this market. There are a lot of strategies, there are a lot of pairs. Whatever works for you is what you want to capitalize on. Okay? Keep up with the latest market news and updates using the Octa economic calendar and anticipate and stay focused and just basically stay tuned for more updates that will be coming in from the YouTube channel, the market analytics, and also the space feature on your Octa Trader app as well. Always expect that. And learning never stops, guys. So always use the educational resources to improve your learning as a beginner trader, enhance your understanding of your trading strategy. If I don't get any questions, I'll just assume that you guys understood the analysis and it was a great session. So if you have questions, let me know in the chat. All right, guys, it's been an amazing session with you guys, an amazing live trading session with you guys. Again, apologies for the interruption we had with the network, but guys, you can always watch this video over and over again to get a better understanding. Come back to it, and if you have any questions, you can use the comment section, and your questions will be answered. All right. Thank you guys for joining, and use this this QR code. There's also going to be a link that will be sent in the chat and also at the description for you to give us a feedback on this webinar. The feedback is very essential for us to improve our future webinars, and this survey is going to take just 1 minute. So scan the QR code or click the link in the description to give us your feedback and fill the survey. And thank you for joining this session.